Hey everyone, it's Monday. That means it's time for my weekly draft video. We'll be drafting some shadows over Innistrad. So I'll be back with you guys when the pack opens. Okay, so our rare is Choked Estuary, which is not exactly a first pickable card. You know, it's nice to help you fix, but it's not worth enough to take it just because it helps me fix, potentially. It may not even do anything. This pack in general kind of is weak. Storm Rider Spirit, Moorland Drifter, Insolent Neonate, Youths, Evangel, Aim High, Bloodmad Vampire. You know, these are all playable cards, but none of them are incredible. It's probably, for me, between Youths, Evangel, and Storm Rider Spirit. And I'm kind of leaning towards the Youths. They do ask you to have double red, and they're better when you have Madness stuff. You know, so is Bloodmad Vampire. Whereas this is good in any deck that has white in it, really. So that is worth thinking about. Yeah. I think it's between the Evangel and the Youths. I'm going to take the Youths. See if we can make vampires work. I've actually never really made it work when I've made a black-red deck. Yeah, it's had vampires in it, but it hasn't exactly been a vampire deck. No removal here, which is what I would really want, but we're happy with the Voldaren Duelist. It's a vampire, and it's a very good one at that. Other good cards here are Griff's Boon, Niblis of Dusk, Hinterland Logger. Those are all cards I would think about taking out of this pack. But we're going to take our Duelist and stay open in red here. Worth noting that those Neonates are probably going to be pretty good in our deck, since if we're going to be vampires anyway, they probably will be. Yeah. Definitely need Madness for it to be at its best, but a 5-mana 4/3 haste is not the worst thing ever anyway. And both our creatures have haste so far, which is a good thing to have. The more creatures with haste you have, they kind of get better, you know. Just because your opponent, you know, once you've played one creature with haste, I don't feel like your opponent really thinks you have another one usually. But, you know, once they see both of these, I guess they will. But let's just open Olivia Voldaren and go to town. Not Olivia Voldaren. Olivia Mobilized for War, I guess it is. All right, well, Concoction is a super good card. I think it's probably what we take. It's also a Madness outlet, great removal spell, and black pairs well with what we have going so far. It's also a good side that black is open-ish, you know, someone to our right. Like, this is a first pickable card, I think. I think people may still be underrating it, but I think it's a first pickable card, and that's what we'll take here. I think it's better in the black-green deck, but it's good in any deck with Madness, and, you know, red does have one uncommon and one rare with Delirium, but black has a few cards with Delirium that, you know, like Tooth Collector would be nice, and it does help you get Delirium. So, there's that. What else do we want? We wouldn't mind Bloodmad Vampires, Incorrigible Youths. Insolent Neonate is a card we really want, probably, because A, it's a vampire, and B, it's a Madness outlet. So both of those are good things, I think. Okay, well, maybe things aren't super open, and we could just take the Twins here. Sleep Paralysis is fine. I think I am just going to take the Twins. I don't love it. Blue looks pretty open. It's worth remembering those things if things change, if we change what we want to draft here. But we're going to take We're going to take the Twins. It's good in this deck, and it's another vampire, so we're doing the vampire thing. All right, Deadweight, another good sign that black's open. And we'll happily take a good removal spell like that. Graph-Mole's pretty good, of course. Most of the cards, I think I'd even say all the cards. Still don't love, I'm not a lover of Equestrian Skill, but all the cards in this pack are actually playable, so it's probably a strong pack to begin with. I mean, Lamplighter and Equestrian Skill are at the lower end of playable, and Ember Eye Wolf's not much above them, but everything in this pack is something I wouldn't mind having. But I think we'd rather have a Wolf, the Deadweight than the Wolf. It's a good removal spell. And I think we want those. So, are things drying up for us? It's not entirely clear, but Just the Wind is a good card. Senseless Rage is fine, but I think I'm going to take Just the Wind. We've seen blue is sort of open. I could just take an apparatus, but I think we want just the wind. Maybe we move into a completely different deck if things really aren't going to come together for us the way we want them to. I mean, I could take Howlpack Wolf. It's a 3-mana 3/3, I guess. Yeah, maybe I should just do that. I mean, it's not going to be able to block very often in our deck, but it's probably not a huge deal. Could also, like I said, just take the apparatus and sort of stay open. At least I think I'm going to take the apparatus. It'll be playable in whatever deck I end up with, whereas, yeah, things aren't looking good in either of our colors. That much is certain. Shard of Broken Glass is a decent piece of equipment. Sanitarium Skeleton's good if we get that enchantment that lets me discard a card and put a 1/1 vampire with lifelink into play. So I think we'll take the skeleton and hope we end up with some sort of engine like that. You take another one. We'll probably just take a trick here, though. But yeah, and the Stormrider Spirit came all the way back around. So black seems open. Red does not seem especially open, sadly. So we may just be a completely different deck. We may be blue-black. We're going to take this Spirit here. This Murderer's Axe is a Madness Outlet. But Stormrider Spirit's pretty good, I think. Well, Vampire Noble, you're a vampire. I could take Gone Missing. Yeah, probably not going to end up playing that anymore either. It's a little less likely anyway. I think I'm going to take... yeah. Yeah, I'll take Gone Missing. Change my mind there. We do have lots of 5s already. Wow, you're still around, huh? I mean, I think black is suitably open, considering we got a late Dead Weight and a late-ish Sinister Concoction. I'll take Nagging Thoughts. I don't know if we actually want to play it, but I probably do want to play a Drownyard Explorers, though, more than Wicker Witch. And Waltz or Lamplighter. Waltz does give us a Madness Outlet of sorts. And Lamplighter, this is the zombie deck, and Lamplighter's fine and all, but I'm not desperate for it. And zombies are kind of more, they're not super supported in this color pair. It's like sort of a sub-theme more than anything. So, looks like we're blue-black. Red's just not open. We had to pivot away from it. We just weren't seeing anything in it. And that is kind of a problem. You have to listen to your signals even when you really want to build a vampire deck. And we did. Oh, gosh. Tireless Tracker again. Can I splash one? Possibly. He is worth several tickets as well. What are we giving up here in our colors? Nothing that exciting. Nothing, really. Actually, our colors are kind of terrible in this pack. So, don't really want Fleeting Memories. Furtive Homunculus is okay. Catalog's okay. Alms of the Vein is bad. So, that, I guess, we'll take the tracker. It's worth a few tickets, and we might try to splash it. He is splashable. Works well with Warped Landscape, too, anyway, so. So, here's a Madness Outlet. Right now we only have one card with Madness, but it's sort of likely we get more of them. We could also just take an Aberrant Researcher, who does help you get Delirium, if that's what you're interested in doing. Epitaph Golem is a key card in the Delirium, black-green Delirium deck, obviously, but take another Stormrider Spirit. So I think it's either Pale Rider or Aberrant Researcher here. Byway Courier is worth looking at, but I think we're probably only going to splash one green card. So, how many instant sorceries do we have at this point? We have a few. Not sure we're actually playing all of them. So I think I'm going to take Pale Rider. Man, what's going on here? I mean, we're really early. This will help us splash. It's probably what I'll take, because the rest of this pack is very bad. True Face Sensor is fine. And it's not bad for everybody, obviously. Gatstaff Arsonist is very playable. Byway Courier is too. They're both cards I'm happy to have. Well, Byway Courier I'm happy to have basically as many as I can get of in a green deck. And Gatstaff Arsonist I'm happy of having one of in any deck. But we're going to take the Stream here, which will help us splash, and hope we pick up some more... Wow, Nearheath Chaplain, really? So Sleep Paralysis is a good removal spell. Thraben Gargoyle is good. Chaplain, obviously, is very good, but we're not white. Maybe we should be. Quilled Wolf, pretty good. We do definitely need more creatures. But it's hard to say no to Sleep Paralysis. So I think I'm going to take that. Okay, well, we have a few vampires. We ended up not picking up that 3-drop vampire, didn't we? But we have enough vampires for him to be... We have 2 right now, but we can definitely prioritize them. And a 1-mana 1/1 with lifelink who can make himself bigger by sacrificing a creature isn't bad anyway, so I think we take him pretty happily, or fairly happily. Well, here's a Vampire Noble. It gets a little better in our deck now. White is definitely open. I probably should have jumped on the white train, but we're going to take the Vampire Noble here. So Rancid Rats I like a lot. Press for Answers isn't bad either, but we're going to take the Rats. Firebog Revenant's also not a bad card, but I like the Rats more. Being able to trade with anything is pretty sweet. So Stromkirk Mentor, will I end up with enough things for you to be good in my deck? That is the key question. Silent Observer is a very good blocker. Stromkirk Mentor can right now pump 3 different creatures in our deck. And at this point, we don't have like a great finisher. And Stromkirk Mentor is definitely not that. So we want the game to go kind of long, I think, though, the way things are looking. So I think we probably do want Silent Observer a little more. Catalog's worth looking at too, but we can pick one up now. So Red's now not looking completely, impossible. I could take the Warped Landscape here over the Catalog and the Furtive Homunculus, and that might be what I want to do. I think the tracker is strong enough that we want to be playing it if we can help it. And Warped Landscape plus Woodland Stream plus a Forest makes me comfortable playing it. So yeah, I think I'll take the Landscape while we see one. And here's Stormrider Spirit, I think is the pick here. Kind of our finisher at this point. Not sure we want Nagging Thoughts. Yeah, we probably could have had a pretty sweet blue-white deck, but black is very open, so black-white might have actually been the way to go. I guess Essence Flux. We have 3 spirits right now. If we pick up more, it might actually be playable. Deny Existence is actually a decent sideboard card, but I think Essence Flux has a chance to be main boardable, so I'll take it. And it's actually not a bad sideboard card either. Against an opponent with tons of removal, being able to blink one of your creatures is, when they play their 5-mana removal spell, if you can cast Essence Flux, because it saves any creature, it just doesn't make them bigger unless they're spirits. And there is Farbog Revenant, I think is what it's called, the 1/3 Skulk Lifelink Spirit. That's a 3-drop. So that wouldn't be terrible to use Essence Flux on. Oh, actually, Pale Rider is also... It is also a spirit. I think we take Wicker Witch here over the Resolve. Just having another creature doesn't hurt. And we'll take the Snapper. I don't think we're playing it, but it's not the worst card ever. Creeping Dread, on the other hand, is definitely in contention for one of the worst cards to play in your draft deck in this format. Okay. So I think we're set for Tireless Tracker. I would obviously feel better if I could have some more ways of getting green. Of course, we open Flameblade Angel. Flameblade Angel, very good, so I would like it, but I can't have it. I think we probably take Reckless Scholar. I mean, it's good even without Madness, but we have 1 card with Madness, 2 cards with it. That one we might not play, though. And we can definitely, Murderous Compulsion is going to become a lot better in a world where we have Reckless Scholar and Sinister Concoction and stuff like that. So I also like Ghoulcaller's Accomplice, but I think we take the Scholar. I think it has enough upside for us. Looting is good. We want to be drawing cards if we want to try to win games here. So I think that's what we take. Throttle, I wouldn't mind coming back, but it is a clunky removal spell. I would definitely play it over Gone Missing, though. At least main board. I like Gone Missing sometimes to side it in because it deals with planeswalkers, and most things don't. And with enchantments, which Throttle obviously can't do. Okay, so we need a finisher. And we're being given one here in Morkret Necropod. Aberrant Researcher is not the worst finisher either, but we need to check. We have one instant that isn't even a lock that we play, and one sorcery. Is that it, really? Yeah, I think that's it, because all of our other non-creature spells are like enchantments or artifacts. So yeah, I don't think we want it. Probably the Necropod is better for us, although, Ongoing Investigation is pretty good for us. We do have flyers, other creatures with evasion like our rats. Should I be greedy and take an Ongoing Investigation or take a creature that's like a legit finisher? I think I should probably take a legit finisher as much as I want that Ongoing Investigation. The thing is, it might wheel, and this probably won't, so I'm going to take it. Well, there's a win condition. Startled Awake, huh? It is clunky, that's for sure, but it can definitely win you the game. So, Thraben Gargoyle or Stitched Mangler. I think I probably want the Mangler more than the Gargoyle, although the Gargoyle is nice because it does transform into a finisher with evasion. Lightning Axe also pretty nice, but I don't think we're going to be red. I think it's the Mangler, though. It's a card that helps us get to the latter part of the game. Okay, well, Geist versus Niblis. I like the Geist a little more, although the Geist definitely gets better in a world where we can like tap down their creatures and stuff like that. And we have, so it's usually better in the blue-white deck because you have lots of ways of tapping creatures. And we're not going to have a ton of ways of tapping creatures in this deck. We've got our Mangler, and that's it. This is a card with madness, but it's not one I like at all. So we do have several non-creature spells, so the Niblis may actually be better in our deck because it has evasion always. This is obviously amazing when you can flip it, but there's just a lot of board states where you never get to flip it, and the Niblis I think is going to get in for more damage in our deck, so that's what we're going to take. Ooh, Illuminator, sure. Yeah, I'll take that over like Press for Answers, which does give us another way to tap a creature, but we want the Illuminator. Wow. Okay. We can take another one of these, or an Heir of Falconwrath, or a Rancid Rats. I think we want the Heir. I think the Heir is very strong. It's better if we had more cards with Madness, and we're probably not even playing that one. Probably also not playing Grotesque Mutation, and may not even play Macabre Waltz because we're not like desperate for Madness. The Aristocrat, a second one, wouldn't hurt, but we don't have a ton of vampires. I mean, and this is just a better card on its own. Okay, Mangler number 2, Pale Rider, or a card that actually gives us some zombie synergies. I think we only have one zombie, though, right? Our Stitched Mangler. It does give you 2 bodies. I don't think I want a second Pale Rider. They do get worse in multiples. You don't really want one desperately in your opening hand, usually. Mangler. Kind of leaning towards the Mangler, as much as I like this guy. The Mangler is just a card that I've had a lot of good success with in this format, and I think I'll continue to take it. All right, well, Compelling Deterrence just got a lot better over our last few picks. Well, not a lot better. We still have, 2 zombies? I was thinking I picked up more. No, we have Rancid Rats, too. It just already has Death Touch, so that other card didn't matter. But yeah, Compelling Deterrence is really good. Okay, great. I think we take Ghoulcaller's Accomplice over Drownyard Explorers or Silent Observer. Another early game creature seems solid, and it's one that gives you value out of the graveyard. Probably don't need you. I probably do want to play you, though, especially with Ongoing Investigation, and I'll happily take a Thraben Gargoyle, too. Wow, this guy came back. Okay, well, I will play you now. You're a zombie that I might side in against people. I think it's more likely I side in. Well, we already have one of those, don't we? Yeah. And another Nagging Thoughts. Okay, so The question is, do we even splash for Tireless Tracker? We probably don't play Wicker Witch anymore. I mean, Tireless Tracker is powerful. That's for sure. And we're going to have 3 green sources in our deck for 1 tracker. That's not the worst thing ever. I think we probably try to make it work just because it's so good. You can probably cut out Gone Missing. That's what I'm leaning towards anyway. Yeah, we're going to trim that. So let's check out our vampire situation. Is that enough to make Indulgent Aristocrat worth running? Probably not. And that also means we don't really need vampires, so I think we lose our noble too. It's just sort of a subpar creature if you don't have vampire synergies. So we also want to splash green for Ongoing Investigation's other ability, which is really good. And yeah, we don't have a big, amazing finisher of any kind. Right now it's looking, Tireless Tracker can end a game, and Stormrider Spirits, and, creatures with evasion looks like how we're going to try to win games. And we have, like, good blockers and things to slow our opponent down or help us get in for damage. So this should be our deck, basically, right here. 3 1-drops doesn't happen a lot in Limited. So, Essence Flux. Spirit-wise, we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Worth noting that if I exile this, I'm pretty sure it would come back into play on its other side instead of on its better side. Oh, we don't want to take out Niblis of Dusk. We have Illuminator as well, and we have Pale Rider of Trostad, who its Enter the Battlefield ability would trigger again, which most of the time isn't going to be ideal. In the end, we only got 1 card with Madness, so. But it might be enough. That is 8 spirits. I mean, I wish one of them had a good Enter the Battlefield ability. Why isn't Stitch Mangler a spirit? I don't know. I think we probably leave it in the sideboard and side it in against someone who has, like, clunky removal, where we can just flash. It does flash any creature, so it's not only spirits it can do that with. So maybe it is worth it, but what would I cut? I mean, Reckless Scholar is not nearly as good when we only have 1 card with Madness, but it's still pretty dang good. Just a looter is usually worth playing. Do I want Pale Rider? He's a spirit. But he does have some dysynergy. We don't have a lot of Madness, so he's not incredible. Yeah, I think I'll cut the Pale Rider and put in Essence Flux. We have tons of creatures, so that's good. Essence Flux, also triggers Prowess, which we only got 1 Niblis, but still. But I think this will be the deck. We want to play 1 Forest. Yeah, 1 Forest. We can probably trim that down, and yeah, because that gives us 3 green sources, 10 blue sources, and 7 black, which I think is fine. Most of our black spells, we don't have that many of them, although we do want to play some of them pretty early. But I think our mana is just going to be a little bit not awesome, but I think it's probably worth it to try to get Tireless Tracker into our deck. All right, this is the deck. Hopefully it does well. I'll see you guys in the first match. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.